In the hustle and bustle of international cricket, it can often get lost that, there is domestic action also going on as we speak. And right now, in this very moment, the Duleep Trophy has been going on. And obviously, it is a very important platform for test hopefuls to kind of showcase their credentials. Because again, the Duleep Trophy has always been that one platform wherein anyone who is either hoping to either make it to the test team or even make a comeback to the test team would perform well in the hopes that it would get them some recognition. And in this case, we have had a few of those kind of performances so far during this Duleep Trophy. We'll get to that in just a bit. But first off, let's talk about the results of the Duleep Trophy and what it is the final of the Duleep Trophy is going to be. The first finalists that we will be having are the South Zone. Now, obviously, South Zone came into this particular match with the tags as favourites due to the fact that they really do have a very strong team comprising not just players who are flirting with an India call-up, but also experienced players who have played for India. So again, it's really no surprise that they came up trumps, because again, you have to remember their captain was Hanuma Vihari, someone who's played in crunch test matches for India, and more often than not was that player who'd be their first choice overseas. So how did the match play out? Well, North Zone actually started off pretty well because they took a 3-run lead in the first innings. It was very slender and it almost played a factor into the result as well. We'll get to how that was a bit later on, but North Zone, after taking that 3-run lead, because again, it was very, very slender in the first innings, ended up setting the South Zone a target of 215. And it was a target that the South Zone ended up chasing down with about 2 wickets to spare, even though, and this is where the gamesmanship comes in, there was, let's say, some clever tactics that were being deployed by the North Zone captain. Now, what were those clever tactics? Well, what was happening was that because in such matches, you know for a fact that in domestic matches, Ranji Trophy, Duleep Trophy, whatnot, there will be, of course, the rule of a first innings lead. And should the match end in a draw, then the team that actually gets the first innings lead is considered the victor and will thus move forward. So North Zone, knowing that they had the lead, it was a slender lead, but it was a lead nevertheless, actually ended up resorting to gamesmanship, so which included bowling wide Yorkers, setting negative fields, and at one point taking a full 55 minutes to bowl 9 overs. You heard that right. If you're someone who's sick of over rates and slow over rates, well, this really was not the match for you, because again, 9 overs in 55 minutes, that is next level slow. And the reason that they were trying to do that was to ensure that bad light could kick in, or the end of the day would start come in quicker, and that they'd be able to draw the test match and thus progress. Hanuma Vihari, who, as I said, was the South Zone captain, said afterwards he didn't particularly mind these tactics, saying that if the shoe was on the other foot, we'd have probably done the same thing. So no spirit of cricket controversies here, in case that's what you're looking for. It's another video for you. But the South Zone did end up getting the winning runs in the end. With 2 wickets to spare, they are through to the finals of the Duleep Trophy. And their opponents are the West Zone. Now, the West Zone did actually end up qualifying using the rule of a first innings lead, because as I said, that's normally what it comes down to when the chase or the run chase is not able to complete for whatever reason and the match ends in a draw. In this case, well, the match did end up finishing in a draw, and that was mostly due to the fact that in the second innings, the West Zone actually ended up setting a very massive target for the Central Zone. So, of course, in the first innings, they scored 220, Central Zone could only get 128. And the main reason the West Zone could make runs this heavy was because, of course, Cheteshwar Pujara, of course, was one of those players who did really well in that second innings, rather. Even Surya Kumar Yadav ended up getting a 50. Pujara, as you know, ended up getting a 100. But they scored 220 in the first innings. Didn't seem like a lot, but they were able to bundle out the Central Zone for 128. In the second innings, thanks to that 100 and that 50 from Cheteshwar Pujara and Sky, respectively, they ended up getting a really big total and ended up setting a target of 390. Now, let's say Central were not able to actually do anything much in response to that, because they only got 128 for 4. They lost a few early wickets, and interestingly, the hero for the Central Zone in both of these particular innings was Rinku Singh, who was recently ignored whilst, let's say, the teams were announced for the West Indies T20Is. Rinku didn't make it, but here he was playing a pretty similar role that, let's say, he was doing for KKR, coming in low down the order and having to play a salvage job of sorts. In the Central Zone's first innings, he scored a quick fire 40 that helped them get past the 100-run mark. And even here, he ended up hitting a few boundaries later on in the day, but by that point, there was no hope of a result, even in the second innings. And the West Zone deservedly qualified for the final alongside, of course, the South Zone. So that is it. That is how the final of the Duleep Trophy is going to be. And if you guys are excited to watch that final, you can let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap the bell icon, leave us a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app. And if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos that we've done. But for now, from my side, it's goodbye.